Okay, good morning in Indonesia, friend, college, the chancellor or rector, vice rector, deans, head of study program. So we are going to start the first US Indonesia research and education collaboration. And please allow us to share screen. We are going to show the video about this program. Okay, thank you. We would like to invite the representative from Ministry of Education and Culture who are going to introduce to our program in building research and education collaboration between US and Indonesia higher education. And secondly, to increase the preference of Indonesian to pursue higher degree in the US with Indonesian government scholarship. So now in this Zoom room, we also have Dr. Dwi Larso from LPDP, Ministry of Finance, and also the chairman of a Chancellor Council of Public Universities of Indonesia. We would like to welcome Professor Nizam as the Director of Higher Education from Ministry of Education and Culture. Your floor is yours.
Thank you, Bu Kofi. Yeah, I think it's a pleasure for me to join this webinar afternoon or evening. So, dear distinguished participants in this webinar, first of all, may I share my screen just to update you with policy in high education, especially. We have the policy what is called Campus Merdeka or Independent Campus. It's basically to respond and to prepare the students to fit with the need of the fourth industrial revolution. As we know, with the development of technology and science, many of the jobs will disappear and very rapidly. To some predictions, more than 10 million jobs will lost from Indonesia alone. But the potential of new jobs created by technology and innovations double that number. So, but we need new competencies for that. That's why we have to address the need for new competencies with what we call the Campus Merdeka project or the program. First, the statistic of higher education in Indonesia. We have more than 4,000 higher education institutions, 4,700 in fact, with more than 8 million students gathered by those institutions. And this is for policies that was announced in early January. One is to increase the higher education enrollment and strengthening quality relevance of higher education, strengthening quality of lecturers and educational personnel. We have 300,000 lecturers and professors, and also strengthening the higher education governance, university governance. So there are, through this Campus Merdeka program or independent campus, basically every student has the opportunities to spend 3 terms or up to 60 credits out of their study program. They can have minor from other faculties or subject or study programs. And they can also spend up to 2 semesters, 2 terms outside their campus. So 1 terms outside their study programs to take minor subjects. And in addition to that, they can spend up to full 1 year outside their campus to do experiential learning. It can be student exchange, full credit transfer in country as well as with the partner institutions abroad. And second, they can also have internships in industries or in work in the job experience. And third, they can also develop their talents in as teaching assistants in more than 300,000 schools. And fourth, they can also become research assistants in research institutions or in research centers in university and other research institutions. They can also have humanitarian project like Peace Corps in the US. They can also conduct entrepreneurial activities and independent project or independent studies. They can get micro credentials and also they can conduct community service. Community service program is one of the popular activities in higher education in Indonesia. They spend up to 1 semester in village to do project developing in community development. So all these activities is still under supervision of the professors. So the student can still get their competencies, their core competencies, as well as competencies gained from experience. And these activities actually we encourage students to take all those activities not only in countries but also abroad. From this experiential learning, students can get, in addition to their degree, their certificate, they can also have micro credentials as well as diploma supplement on their additional experience, knowledge, and skills during their terms or their time outside the campus. And to accelerate these transformations, we ask our universities to aim at these 8 key performance indicators. One is how much graduates get their jobs within the first 6 months with decent jobs. And second, how many of the students, percentage of the students that get an off-campus experience. And third, we also want to engage university more with the industry, with the professional work. So we give opportunities for professors, for lecturers to also conduct sabbatical leave, not only in part in universities, but also in industries. And also we invite practitioners, professionals to also teach our students in university to give them more readiness to job. And also we encourage the research from lecturers to either to publish or to make innovations that can be utilized by industries. And six, we strengthen universities or encourage them to do cooperations with international partners. And seventh, the classroom, we want to shift or to encourage the classroom into project-based, case-based learning instead of conventional way of one directions lectures. We want to transform the classroom into more participative with project-based and case-based learning. And we also encourage our study programs to get international accreditations like APET or in law, in medicine, and the like. And to facilitate that, the government provide some incentive. One is performance-based budgeting, which we incentivize our state universities for performance. Those that outperform their target, they can get incentive from what they achieve. And second, we provide matching fund for university industry cooperations. So if a university or an industry would like to invest in city through research collaborations, the government will provide a matching fund for that. For every dollars the industry spend to university, in addition to the super tax deduction, for every dollars industry spend on research, there will be 3 times that amount to be tax deductible. And also competitive fund for campus to make innovations in accelerating transformation of the university into better fit into the fourth industrial revolution. So what we very much encourage is to send our students and our staff to have experience not only from uh, industries and universities in Indonesia, but also abroad. And we have discussed quite lengthy with LPDP for that to happen with the support also from LPDP. So we would love to see more and more collaborations between universities from Indonesia and also from abroad, especially in this time with US universities, like what we have with MIT, with MIRA, and also with other universities. So thank you very much, Bu Poppy. I give back the time to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Nizam, as the Director General Higher Education, Ministry of Education and Culture, the Republic of Indonesia, who also has the main responsibility for enhancing the collaboration between universities worldwide, not only in the US but also in other countries. But the US is one of the greatest job for us in building and also increasing number of collaboration between Indonesian university and and American universities. Thank you very much, Professor Nizam, for giving the direction in how we could move forward for building the collaboration between universities. So we could inform to all participants here. We have already have 10 partner university that are has a potential for building the education collaboration and also research collaboration. Thank you very much, Professor Nijam. Now we are going to invite from Indonesian Endowment Fund for Education, or abbreviated as LPDP. LPDP is the largest scholarship agency under Ministry of Finance from Indonesia, and LPDP has sent 11,249 Indonesian to study overseas, and LPDP also has sent Indonesian to study domestically in Indonesia more than 25,000. And we're really eager to have LPDP to inform to 10 partner university the probability of Indonesian students to study in 10 university that are present here in this event. So this is the first US Indonesia research and education collaboration that has two main objectives. The first objective is to increase number of Indonesian universities to collaborate with American universities. And the second is to increase number of Indonesian to study in the US based on 10 study program that are present in this session. So the first US research and education collaboration today is not the first and the last. We will have the second US education and research collaboration session in the webinar in the on Wednesday, the 2nd of December 2020 in the field of humanities. So we also will invite 10 universities that are going to participate in this program. So please welcome Dr. Dwi Larso, the Director of Scholarship from LPDP, Ministry of Finance. Floor is yours.
Baik Ibu, thank you. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hopefully everybody in health, good health and happiness. Prof. Nisam yang saya hormati, the Director General of Higher Education, Profesor Jamal Wiwoho, Chairman of Indonesia Association of Public University Presidents, Ibu Poppy, Professor Poppy Rufaida, Attaché of Education and Culture at our embassy, Indonesia Embassy for USA, Professor and representative, and I think many of you I already met during Ibu Poppy events, also general attendees that attend this meeting. Actually, myself, actually, Dwi Larso, the Director for Scholarship, and I'm accompanied by the Director of Research, Ibu Poppy, so we can have more discussion, not only for scholarship, as well for research collaboration if needed. Best regard from Pario, the President Director of LPDP, Ibu, for all of you, especially Ibu Poppy, Pak Nizam, and Pak Jamal. For sure, we're glad Ibu Poppy to be invited to this event because your goal is our goal as well, Bu, at LPDP, try to have more collaboration and deep understanding of our program and your program. Hopefully we can increase our student sent to the best university in the world, including for sure American university. Myself actually nine years educated in Oregon State, Ibu, so I know how good is university in US in general. Let me do my presentation. Thank you, Mbak Lina, for helping me. Next page, please. At LPDP, Indonesian Endowment Fund for Education, we have three function or three programs. The first one is for sure the endowment fund must be invested, so we will use the yield from the endowment fund, from the investment, to be used only for two purposes. The first one is scholarship. This comprise almost about 80%, 85% of all the fund, and the rest about 15 until 25% go for research funding. Next, please. Next, Mbak Lina. Right now we have total of endowment fund that collected, dedicated by our government. The total is 51.12 trillion rupiah collected from 2010 until 2019, and hopefully by the end of this month, by the end of this year, I mean, we will achieve around 70 trillion, hopefully. Next, until now, Ibu Poppy and all colleagues, we already give more than 25,000 awardee out of this program, and part of them actually already 12,000 already alumni of our program and now working for the goodness of our country. Indonesia. And now we still have 7,000 until 8,000 awardee that's still ongoing, still studying abroad and as well in Indonesia. In terms of scholarship, doctoral program is about 25%. The rest, basically master program and medical specialists, total about 75%. Next, Mbak. This is the origin of our awardee from around Indonesia, 34 provinces, and mostly lie in Java and Sumatra. But in the next year, starting next year, we will do our best and better effort to increase intake from eastern part of Indonesia and other affirmative region in Indonesia. Next. We send our students to all of continents in the world. And in terms of foreign region, we send more in Europe countries. And then Australia, the next one is North America, 3.27%, and in other Asia, 3.22%, and the rest go to Africa as well as small number, and domestically in Indonesia. If we see from this number, for sure we have a challenge to send our student to US, including Canada, for sure. We have, I think, we have a difference. If we send our student to US, mostly require GRE, GMAT, while if we send to other continent, they don't require that kind of requirement. But we will do our best to face this challenge. For USA only, we have awardee now about 900, 893. We send to many universities in US, including Columbia, Cornell, American University, Penn State in Pennsylvania, University of Chicago. And I think based on master and doctoral, 700, almost 800 compared to 100 for doctoral degree. Next, Mbak Lina. STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. In this area to US, we send 260 awardee, engineering 151, technology 37, science 68, math 4. At the right side, actually, in the list of the university, NYU, Columbia, Carnegie Mellon, until University of Florida in Gainesville. Next. This is our program. I should report as well to Pak Nizam, actually under direction as well from Ministry of Education and Culture, starting in 2020 actually, and will be full force in 2021. LPDP is obliged as well to support the program run by the Ministry for Education and Culture and other ministry in Indonesia. Pak Nizam already explained about Kampus Merdeka. We will support this program. We will support vocational educational program as well under the Ministry for Education and Culture. Certification program, educator, research, enrichment program. Pak Nizam mentioned about sabbatical leave, can go to this category. And originally we have three kind of scholarship. The first one is the group of affirmative scholarship. And then the second one is targeted. We send our employee, government employee, educator, medical specialist, and then some go in term of in a group of technology, industry, entrepreneurship, and digital. And the other one is scholarship for top achievement, prestasi dunia or prestasi internasional. On affirmative, first group go for disables, and then underprivileged group economically, including bidik misi and other groups. Scholarship for eastern part of Indonesia and underdeveloped region. And the fourth one is scholarship for santri, usually go for general science and as well religious studies. For the general, this is highly competitive for public, general public in Indonesia. It includes the program, we call it PTUD, what class or what top rank university scholarship, and then we have program unggulan or regular, we call it top program scholarship, and then we have a partial scholarship for dissertation, and as well we develop co-funding scholarship. Next, Mbak Lina. This is a list of university under the program of what top rank university. If you see here, I think majority the university actually in USA. Yeah, maybe only three from outside USA. That's Cambridge, Oxford, and Swiss. Yeah, ETH Zurich. Other the 12 university all in US country. Next. I should mention that the previous slide sometimes misleading. We not only working with this 15 university, but we working with hundreds other university under many other program. The list of the program, this university, study program and university for 2021, because we not sending our student during pandemic 2020, but we have obligation, we have intention to send, to open our whole program in 2021. Right now, we still reviewing the list of the university for 2021. The criteria for listing foreign university includes what ranking by QS, Times Higher, and Shanghai. And then we combine as well with criteria that given by our Board of Trustee of LPDP. We call it national interest and priority. As well, we talk, we have input or feedback from the employer institution for targeted scholarship. For domestic study program, we only based on accreditation A by National Board of Accreditation. Next. Our scholarship cover basically almost all needs by this awardee, including educational and other additional. For doctoral students, we give a family allowance as well, so they can live with their family abroad. Next. For 2020, with cooperation with Ministry for Education and Culture as well, we open scholarship for educators, not only lecturer, but include teachers. As I mentioned before, we open what top rank university scholarship, all under the requirement that they already receive, they already own a unconditional letter of acceptance from the university. Next. This is for research. Pak Wisnu is here, but maybe only one or two slides. Later on during discussion, maybe Pak Wisnu can interact with you. But I will mention that our research program include two big category, very competitive and invitational research based on our priority, mandatory by government, and international research collaboration like ITB and other university with MIT that going on right now. Competitive research go for commercial and mostly applied implementation. we need to have outcome, not only output of the research paper. Next. This is number for research. Until now, we already grant 855 billion rupiah IDR, including 871 project. From this project result in 88 patent, copyright, and then trademark. For sure, the number is still small. I think under Pak Wisnu management, this year we increase our research funding by much. So hopefully in the future we will have more and more result or outcome from this research funding. Next. I think Ibu Poppy and friends, that's all of our presentation. And we are open for future or further collaboration, not only directly with LPDP, but you can make a cooperation you to you, university to university, and LPDP will present there as well, maybe institution and institution as well, government to government, Ibu. We are open for cooperation in order to increase our intake and sending our awardee to top university in the world, including United States. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Dwi Larso, as the Director of Scholarship from LPDP. So we can see from the information from the chart, 20%, only 20% compared to Europe. In LPDP has sent nearly 1,000 Indonesian students to study in Europe, but in the US only 20% from the Europe. So it is a kind of challenge for us to 10 university who are already here in this event. We're really looking forward for how we could bridge the information to provide more information to potential Indonesian to pursue higher degree in the US. So Indonesia is really eager to increase number of Indonesian to study in the US with formal collaboration. We are hoping that we could have a good solution. A good solution, not only master level, but also doctoral level. So now we are going to have the introductory remark from the Chancellor, the Chairman of Chancellor Council of Public University. So we would like to inform the Chancellor Council of Public University of Indonesia consists of 87 public university. And it is scattered from Aceh to Papua, and most university as a reputable university. And some of the participants who are in the Zoom room now, there are chancellor or rector, and also vice rector, deans, and head of study program. They are really eager to collaborate with all 10 universities here, and also to find a way how to increase the preference of Indonesian to study in the US. So please, my staff, Aris, to show the video.
Respectable Director General of Higher Education, Ministry of Education and Culture, Republic of Indonesia, Professor Nizam. Director of Indonesia Endowment Fund for Education, Mr. Leonard Silaban. Attaché of Education and Culture, Indonesia Embassy in Washington, D.C., United States, Professor Poppy Ruwaida. All the speakers for the webinar on U.S.-Indonesia research and education for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics from 10 U.S. universities. and all participants of this webinar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning for Indonesia colleges and good evening for American colleges. First of all, on behalf of the Council of Indonesia Public University, I would like to thank the Attaché of Education and Culture, Indonesia Embassy and Washington DC, United States for organizing this event. I would also like to thank for Indonesia Ministry of Education and Culture and the Indonesia Endowment Fund Education for supporting this event. Also, my gratitude goes to all speakers of today's event who are top scholars from a number of U.S. universities. Ladies and gentlemen, as we have witnessed, the COVID-19 pandemic has impacted most sectors in our life, including education, that most of us involved in. Many business processes in the university have to be suddenly changed in responding the pandemic and the subsequent government policy to restrain the transmission of this virus. The situation on the other side, however, led the expedite the digitalization process in the higher education, including today's meeting, where we use online meeting platform to meet Indonesia and America colleges in an effective and efficient. This particular event is basically intended to facilitate Indonesia young scholars, university academic staff, and students who are interested to take master or PhD program in the U.S. university by meeting them with representatives from several U.S. universities. For the time being, it is focused in the area of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. In particular, there are 12 potential areas to study that are presented today with the architecture, public health, veterinary medicine, microbiology and medical immunology, chemistry and biochemistry, geological engineering, mechanical engineering, petroleum engineering, and system engineering. We are happy that representatives of 10 U.S. universities are willing to share some insight related master and PhD program in this university.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Jamal, as the Rector or Chancellor Universitas Negeri 11 Maret in Solo, and also as a Chairman of the Chancellor Council of Public University in Indonesia. So we can see here that we are really eager to collaborate with 10 universities, not only in education, but also in research. So now we are going to have the presentation from all partner university who has already participated in our webinar serial webinar that are hosted by Indonesian Embassy in Washington DC, and then the 10 university who are already present here, they have Indonesian students. So there are likely or possibilities for all of you to have a contact with Indonesian students who study in 10 university in order to increase number of Indonesians to study in those university. Now we would like to welcome Dr. David Carley as from College of Architecture, University of Nebraska. Please, Dr. David. Is Dr. David is already here? If Dr. David is not in here, so we would like to invite Professor Dr. Jennifer from Department of Petroleum Engineering, Colorado School of Mines.
Thank you, Poppy. If I can share my slides real quick. So I just welcome everybody. Thank you for this opportunity to speak with you all, and good morning or evening as the case may be. So my name is Jennifer Miskemmons. I am the department head of petroleum engineering at the Colorado School of Mines. And I'll talk a little bit about petroleum engineering specific just because that's my area, but we also have students in our geologic and geology engineering program. And I don't believe we have any right now, but I believe in the past we've had some through our geophysics program. So Colorado School of Mines, we are a relatively small public research university that is focused strictly on science and engineering. I say small in that our overall enrollment for both all of our undergrad and graduate programs is about 6,500. We are strictly science and engineering, so every degree program that we grant on our campus falls into those categories. We are located in Golden, Colorado, which is just outside of Denver, Colorado, if you're familiar with that area, right at the base of the Rocky Mountains. It's a very beautiful area. And yes, we have had snow already. So the people who ski like it a lot. We are very close to the Denver International Airport, and that makes transportation in and out of the area pretty convenient. And we tend to be fairly highly rated as a return on investment for degrees, really meaning that for the cost of the education that we provide, we see people end up with fairly high paying jobs and a return on investment in those areas. And that's where you can kind of see some of these rankings from. And there's our website right there. If you want to explore the university as a whole. As I mentioned, I am in the petroleum engineering department. We do have a Bachelor of Science degree and undergraduate degree in petroleum engineering. I think for this audience, you are probably more interested in the graduate degrees. We do have the traditional Master of Science, thesis-based research masters. We have the Doctor of Philosophy PhD degree. We also have a Master's of Engineering, which is non-research coursework only masters. And this particular semester, which since data analytics and data was brought up earlier, we just started a fully online petroleum data analytics certificate, which has classes that get toward a data analytics certificate, but can then be used for both our master's and our PhD programs. We also have minors in for other bachelor's degrees on campus in petroleum, and we also have a midstream and a petroleum data analytics minor for our bachelor's degrees. So we see great growth in the area of machine learning, artificial intelligence, data analytics, that type of thing. From our research activities, we have one institute that runs out of our department. It focuses on unconventional natural gas. We have several research centers that have specialization in different areas of petroleum engineering, specifically reservoir engineering, stimulation engineering, and production. And we do quite a bit of individual research. A large majority of our funding comes in the petroleum engineering department from industry. So we have several industry partners worldwide, actually, not just in the US, but multiple worldwide in different countries that we perform research projects with specific to their particular needs. And we do also work with some rather unusual things, and we're starting to see more of this just because of the need for the energy transition and the energy future changes, where we are doing quite a bit of work with CCUS or carbon capture and sequestration. So capturing carbon from the atmosphere and actually sequestering it underground, which can be used to actually improve production in the fossil fuel area. We're doing some work in geothermal, and most recently we've had some work in space resources, where we've been doing some investigation of things like drilling for water on Mars. So we're taking some of that knowledge and converting it into petroleum engineering knowledge, converting it into other areas. Just to give you a feel for our program, our undergrad's about 300 people, and about 40% of those are international. Our graduate student body is very international. We have around 80% of our petroleum engineering that is international. And that's about 2/3 PhDs and 1/3 masters. So I want to make sure that it was short and sweet, just to give you all an overview, and I'm happy to answer any questions now or later, Poppy, if you want.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Jennifer. Colorado School of Mine is one of the best school in mining, yeah, in petroleum engineering, and it is amazing. Colorado School of Mine doing the research in Mars. This is kind of the future. This is cutting edge technology.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And then we are going to invite Dr. Hiroki from School of Geological Engineering, University of Wisconsin-Madison.
Hello, can you see my screen and hear me?
Yes, yeah, perfect.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you for the introduction. My name is Hiroki Sone. I'm an assistant professor and the director of graduate studies in the geological engineering program in University of Wisconsin-Madison. So I'd like to just very briefly introduce the university and their geological engineering program and talk about ways to get involved. Okay, so we are a public university located in the state of Wisconsin. For those of you not familiar, it's one of the states close to the Great Lakes in the Midwest region. It is a very cold place in the winter, but beautiful summers. Madison is a city located in between two lakes that you can see on the bottom photo. Here you can see the downtown area and then the adjacent campus. So in the university, just quick facts, there's 13 schools and colleges. So really a full spectrum of academics going on campus, from engineering, where I come from, to letters and science, business, law school, basically everything. So we have, in our graduate student population, about half comes from international students, so a lot of opportunities there. One of the numbers maybe I like to also mention is, that stands out, I think, is that as a university in whole, our research expenditure is number 6 in the nation, despite being a public university. So we really have a lot of academic research active going on in our campus. So next I want to talk about our geological engineering program, where I am from. So Wisconsin has a long history of mining, and that's actually where our mascot Badger was named after. But anyways, our geological engineering program started as a mining engineering department, but with the expansion in technology and expansion in how we utilize resource, so the department transformed into geological engineering to accommodate the demand in the society. So in 1988, the undergraduate program started, and since the 1994, a full graduate program, including master's and PhD degrees, started. We also started recently what's called an accelerated master's degree, which is a course-based one-year master degree, for those of you interested. So what is geological engineering? geological engineering, I think, is the interface between engineering and geology. Not many universities have this program in the country. The idea is to take advantage of the scientific knowledge in geoscience and the technical knowledge in engineering to and combine those to solve problems that where our society interface with the nature. So technical tracks include energy, mineral, and mining, water, geohazards, infrastructure, sustainability, and environment. But this is just the 5 categories, and obviously within these categories, many kinds of research go on. For instance, in energy minerals, we deal from something from conventional petroleum resource all the way to geothermal energy, and so on. We are supported by a list of faculty that reside in geoscience and engineering, and this is just to show how diverse the background we have in our faculty group, half coming from geoscience and engineering, ranging from geodesy, seismology, all the way to atmospheric science and civil engineering. So this is the group of people who supports the synergistic research activities we do. A little bit about what our graduate students experience. So you can see an example course list here showing the diverse background. Students go learn inside the campus and also outside, obviously because this is geological engineering. Most PhD students start by taking many courses in their first 2 years to reach the 30 credit minimum. They usually go through what's called a qualifying exam after the first year, and then preliminary exam to present their PhD research, and finally defending after about an average of 5 to 6 years. So a full training from courses to being able to define your research and then also to defend your research. How do you get admitted? Most requirements are pretty much common. The admission package requires a reference letter, academic transcripts, and English proficiency requirements. GRE is not required next year because of the impact of COVID. And I'd like to also mention the statement of purpose is also an important component to specifically describe your research interests to the faculty members. So these are the formal requirements, but I would really strongly recommend to those who are interested to actually find the faculty that you are interested in so that you can directly reach out to them. In terms of research collaborations, obviously international collaboration is a very big necessary component to have a successful research program. As for myself, in the past 5 years, I've collaborated with various institutes, including universities and research institutes and companies in Indonesia. Here is myself with my PhD student, Daryl Lannon, who's working with me under the LPDP scholarship when we visited the Pertamina office in Jakarta. So we always welcome collaborations. So if any of you are interested, please start by contacting us at any time. Okay, so probably to keep with time, I should probably stop there. Again, it's a wonderful place to work. So please feel free to contact us anytime with research interests and learning experience opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hiroki, for the presentation. So, University of Wisconsin Madison, particularly School of Geological Engineering, is the 6th largest university that spend on research on budget on research. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Hiroki. Now we are going to pop up to the first presenter from College of Architecture, University of Nebraska. Now is already in the Zoom room. Please welcome Professor Ankersen.
Hello, thank you for having me, Poppy. I'm speaking on behalf of Kathy Ankerson, Dean of the College of Architecture. My name is David Carley. I am the Program Director of Architecture. So thank you for having me. I look forward to the future conversations. So to start off, I'm going to talk a little bit about the college and then go into our graduate programs. So at the college level, our mission is to create a resilient and healthy, beautiful world within the diverse and inclusive culture of rigorous inquiry and innovation, united by the transformative power of planning and design. We demand excellence, we are courageous, we practice empathy, we look beyond, and we aspire to impact. Within the college itself, we are 4 programs. We have architecture, community regional planning, interior design, and landscape architecture. The programs I'll focus on today, because of my discipline, is architecture, and also speak about community and regional planning as graduate programs. The culture of our building, because we are interdisciplinary as a college, we really work together with all of the disciplines in the undergraduate, but more particularly in the graduate program. We have several dual degree options at the master's level, where an MArch student or a Master's of Architecture student can have a dual degree in business, community regional planning, and we foster those collaborations in some of the images and student work and faculty connections. We're well suited within the United States, so we're in the middle, meaning we have access to some of the best architectural firms in the country. 3 of the top 16 largest firms are headquartered in Omaha, which is 1 hour from our campus. We often collaborate with them, we do research projects with them, and they're a global practice. So we're excited about those partnerships with the firms and understanding the relationship between academia and the profession. Within the college itself, for the graduate programs I'll shift to next, we offer a Master's of Architecture, which is a 2-year degree. We also offer a Master's of Architecture for non-undergraduates in a design discipline for a 3-year degree. We have a Master's of Science in Architecture, a Master's of Science in Interior Design, and then a Master's of Community Regional Planning. These master's programs are co-taught often, and the students work between these different disciplines to think about the built environment as an interdisciplinary challenge. We're very happy to have Barun join us this semester, in the fall semester. He's a graduate student, and he's contributed and had impacts in many of his classes. So we're happy to have him as part of our student body. The MArch program specifically at UNL is known for combining technology and disciplinary and computational innovation with a focus on everyday demands of the profession. We deploy advanced design experimentation in the service of our community. We are partly urban and partly rural community in our larger state, and we often participate with those communities. And so we are trying to address our local problems, but we really see these as also global issues, whether we're talking about sustainability or density or rural issues. We are trying to balance some of those topics within our programs. As a master's student in architecture, we have themes or tracks that the students can come into our program and gain a sense of specializations. So you'll see on the screen history theory, professional development, building technology, fabrication, meaning making and building, as well as representation and computational design. So we think that the students, by focusing on these areas, are better equipped to go into the profession and have a greater impact. Being in the center of the United States, so this is where Nebraska is, for all those who don't know, we really are a regional school, but we also send our alumni to national and international offices. So we're really proud to send our students to nationally recognized architectural firms in Denmark, in London, as well as in New York City, Chicago, and Seattle. And then oftentimes, this is a little bit less appropriate, but it talks about the power of our undergraduate curriculum to send our most advanced students to some of the best graduate schools in the country. To focus on a couple of those master's level students, I want to share a cross-section of these students who have graduated from the MArch program, the Masters of Architecture, and have gone on to do a really powerful impact for the community. So Evan Wormers is now working at Studio Gang Architects in Chicago. Chrissy Harbert did graduate with her master's degree in 2011, but now she's currently the art director at Nike, which is pretty powerful. Dan Williamson is working at HDR, which is one of those global practices, and he's the computational design lead at that office. Mallory Lane is currently an architectural intern at Olson Kundig in Seattle. Jazz Grave works at Karen Timberlake, and Sherry Privatera is the senior principal at Populous. These are pivotal and noteworthy firms that we are training and participating with these offices to have a relationship with them, and also foster critical dialogue about the built environment, as well as climate change and other issues. Our faculty is diverse, both in terms of practitioners as well as scholars. We bring practitioners into our building who are full-time practicing architects who will teach specialized courses for our students. We also have full-time architecture faculty who have a diverse range of collaborations. Mark Hoystad is one example. He has several collaborations with China. He is a co-instructor in several of their institutions. He has an exchange program with students from China, and he will often go to China several times a year, participate in their universities, and also with their profession on the ground in China. So that's a growing relationship that Mark has, and as an established faculty member that we can learn from and build from if that's of interest to people. This is an example of the image here of a design build project, which means we're working with communities to understand their needs and to build a piece of architecture that is in service of a community need. And so this is a tool shed for the community. Citizens can come and rent out tools on a day-to-day basis. But really, in general, our faculty are excited and proud to be excelling in teaching, research, and creative practice as a three-part type mission for us. So when we have our students here, we engage them in our research, we engage them in our scholarly activities, and that we think trains them both to be a good professionals, but also to be good scholars of the society. And so we're happy to participate and bring those students in our journey. If you have questions, please feel free to contact Leslie Gonzalez at Admissions or myself directly. Our email addresses are right here at the bottom of the screen. So I appreciate the time, and I look forward to further discussions. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor David from University of Nebraska, from the College of Architecture. Now we are going to Professor Santos Devasia from Mechanical Engineering Department, University of Washington and Seattle. So we will make sure that all participants to have the PowerPoint presentation. So please welcome Professor Santos.
Hi, can you see my screen?
Yes, perfect. We can see your screen.
Okay, wonderful. Okay. Let me see if you can't see my screen. Okay, because I know sometimes it doesn't work through. Okay, so thank you very much for the opportunity to give a presentation here. My name is Santosh Devasia. I'm a professor in mechanical engineering. And I'm very grateful to have Joshua Gombo as part of the scholarship program. He's part of our PhD program here, and he's a fantastic student, so thank you. So for those who don't know where Seattle is, we are on the northwest side of the United States, where the star is, and that's a Washington state. So if you ask, what is Seattle famous for? At this moment it's raining outside heavily, so it's rain and coffee, pretty much. Starbucks and rain has been very popular in Seattle. But that makes, I think, Seattle a very romantic city. And so now there was a movie about Seattle being very nice and very popular. And so the house prices have gone up for everybody, of course. So, but rain also makes Seattle very pretty. We have the Mount Rainier here on the left. And these are cherry blossoms in the campus. And then we have the Puget Sound. So water is a very important element of the Seattle area. And then what else is Seattle famous for? Apples are very popular in Seattle. We also have the three major big companies, Amazon, Microsoft, and Boeing is centered in Seattle. Then, of course, Starbucks is very popular everywhere, just like FedEx. UPS is a company that started out in Seattle. FedEx didn't start in Seattle, but UPS is a company that started out in Seattle. Costco, wholesale. And now we have PACCAR, which is the biggest trucking company in the US, is in Seattle. And then we have a new nascent space companies opening up in Seattle as well. Of course, we have the University of Washington as well. So the University of Washington has, because of the local industry, which is very close by to the university, there has been a strong interest in trying to bring universities and industries together. The traditional idea is that industry will give some money to the universities and the universities will give students back. But what we've been trying to do is, because we have this close proximity, we've been trying to co-locate industry and university. So one of those is the Boeing Advanced Research Center that started out in 2014. And basically, the key aspect here is that Boeing engineers and faculty and students work together in a combined space to make impactful research. And we obviously have a lot of master's, bachelor's, and PhD students as part of the program. And main topics of research are, big data and machine learning. We have a lot of robotics, ergonomics, safety, and composites for advanced systems. To give a brief idea of the University of Washington, it's founded in 1861. It's one of the older universities. It's got about 50,000 students in the main campus. It's considered #1 in federal funds for among public universities for a long time. If you look at the U.S. News and World Report, it's considered a global, top 10 global university. And then it's also, we are very proud of this innovative aspect of the university. Then a lot of companies and innovations start out from the university as well. If you come in the fall time, in the springtime, it's a beautiful time to visit because it's got the cherry blossoms in bloom and the place is really spectacular. From the academic department's point of view, we have a wide range of engineering programs inside the College of Engineering, from bioengineering, aerospace, chemicals. So pretty much anything you can think about, and including mechanical engineering, is available for students. And we have about, the international population, the graduate students, is about 30% of our students are international. From the mechanical engineering point of view, which is where I am from, we have, advanced manufacturing, data science, energy, health, mechatronics, and robotics, as well as fluids. And so if you have any questions, you can always ask these two graduate program coordinators who can help you with answering questions about the program itself. I want to say there's a lot of things to do in Seattle. There's, Chihuly Museum, spectacular sceneries and so on. The Boeing Museum of Flight in downtown, and also you can get a tour of the Boeing itself. But in general, if you come in any time in the university, it's really spectacular place to visit. And it's also a spectacular place to work as well. So all of you are welcome to apply to the University of Washington. So if you have any questions, please let me know, and we'll be glad to help you out with the program.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you very much, Professor Santos. Professor Santos also is the director of Boeing Advanced Research Center. So it's very interesting. Now we are going to next presenter, Dr. David Snyder from Cornell University, the Director of Master of Engineering Studies in System Engineering. Yeah, please welcome. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Are you able to see the slides all right?
Pleasure to meet you again.
Wonderful. Very nice to be here. And honestly, it's an honor to be here and talking with you all once again here. Now, I had an opportunity to talk a little bit about some of what I'm talking about tonight my last time, but I just want to make sure that everybody hears what it is that what we have to offer, because one of the things I've always enjoyed about working at Cornell University is we really take to heart our motto of any person, any study. Meaning that the education that we want to provide is something that can reach people from all walks of life and all different kinds of disciplines. So yes, I'm talking about the systems engineering program in particular today, but I want to even talk about the diversity that what we can offer through this program. Now, PhD programs are, perhaps, always thought as like the top of our, any educational program, but already our systems programs diversity can be seen here as we explore all different kinds of things in transportation and space systems, in pharmaceuticals and food systems. We're actually getting very, really heavy into energy systems right now. And we have one of the largest fields actually in the overall department as a result of this as well for it. So there's lots of different opportunities for research. But as I saw in your earlier slides today, the master's programs are where you're getting the majority of your students going into. And we at Cornell actually have a distance learning Master of Engineering program, which is the same exact accredited degree as our on-campus program. We felt if we're going to do something, we should do something right. And hence, again, you can earn the same exact accredited degree through our distance learning program as our on-campus program. This is really popular for many people who are already working professionals looking to get their master's, as well as people who are, in foreign countries as well, particularly given the current climate of the world overall. But we're really proud of the master's program that we have here at Cornell. That's earned a number of significant gongs, but one in particular that adds real value directly to all the students who are part of our program is one of our core courses was actually the first experience in the world to be recognized by NCOSE as being knowledge exam equivalent. For those who don't know NCOSE, it's Professional Society for Systems Engineering. And what this basically means is by taking just one of our core courses, students are able to walk out with possibly ASCP or even CSCP certification, depending upon the years of work experience behind them already. So there's a lot of value add in our master's level program, even if, again, it's part of a distance, participation for it. Now we recognize as well that, the PhD is obviously a very large commitment. Master's is not a small commitment in itself either. And so we also are now again, for ways to try to reach even more people in their educational needs. We're going to be offering soon, hopefully within the next academic year, credit-bearing certificates. So these are certificate programs, are just smaller groups of courses. So if someone isn't able to take on a full degree program right now, but wants to get, more or less a good head start on either, their education or even progression into a degree later on, this can offer, a great intermediate solution, give them just the piece of education that they really need. And then again, open the door even more for them in the future. Hopefully by next academic year, this is the list of different kinds of certificates that we'll be able to offer. And we're already in development of other ones. The space systems one in particular looks like it might actually make the list up above as well for these. But these are just 3 to 4 courses. Most of them are 3 courses, with advanced versions being 4 courses. And they have a really nice structure to them, and that the certificates are more or less built such that maybe for one certificate, you take these 3 courses. For the next certificate, you might actually have some repeat of some of those courses. You may only need to take one additional course in order to get that additional certificate. Again, helping it to be more of that stepping stone for people, to grow their education in multiple areas, if that's what they need. Now, let's say that's still too much, time and effort, that invested, because still three courses is significant. Well. We also offer another non-credit bearing certificate program as well that we have. This is through eCornell, which is also less expensive than our normal courses as well, which is worthwhile to mention for this. But this is, again, another popular way for a lot of people in industry we're finding, as well as actually we found students from other universities that don't offer system engineering, that this can be a way for them to get some, additional system engineering education on their program. We're hoping that those credit-bearing certificates might be able to of interest to other schools as well that don't offer system engineering in the future as well. But again, they won't be ready until next academic year. But again, the certificate program is one or other option that we have. But we also have, if that's, again, an entire certificate's too much, we even have it broken down into 7 different modules. So again, maybe if it's part of an industry group that's looking to improve the education of their employees, and they aren't able to, dedicate that much time or resources towards, larger education, they can just take individual modules on particular subjects within system engineering. And we're even finding that some universities are using these individual modules basically as textbook replacements as well, because they find them, again, to be a great resource. And students tend to like them because more or less they're all chopped up into 2 to 4 minute videos that go along with the activities that they have, real bite-sized education, if you will, for, again, make it that much easier for busy individuals already to, incorporate this into, whatever other responsibilities they have. Now, let's say even that's too much. And again, at Cornell, our model really is any person, any study. So we've even offered a number of free design guides that we put out. These are normally available through our Cornell Cup competition that we run, which is an embedded systems competition largely overall. But due to COVID, the competition is not being run this year. But these guides, you can still get them available directly through us if that's something that you're interested. Again, this is something that we're finding a number of professors are using as supplement for the education, very basically textbook replacement again here, but these are, again, freely available to people overall. And I just even want to spend a little bit of my my precious 5 minutes talking about this, because we have heard a lot of great feedback from students. I mean, Carnegie, one of my favorite quotes came from a student in Carnegie Mellon who was not even part of the competition, but was in charge of running basically all their student projects that they were running. He said our guides were worth their weight in golden sheets of paper, and that they really helped everybody at Carnegie Mellon, that they were there. But again, if you're interested in these, you can contact me for them. But also just to give you a couple other success stories really quick. One of our first, when we first released these things, one group in our competition was Titan Arm from UPenn, which basically built this kind of like Iron Man suit for physical rehabilitation, if you want for it. Well, they took their work as a part of this, and they turned around and were the first American group that won the James Dyson Award for Engineering Design. They earned all different kinds of recognition for it. And when they were asked why they're such a success, they quoted almost verbatim some of the information that was in our guides as being the secret to our success. These guides have also been recognized by the Obama White House, actually repeatedly. For that, and it's even been recognized on national television. Yeah, even this guy somehow got on TV for talking about these things. But we've had a number of different universities who have been finalists who have spoken with remarkably high results for these, and these are our sponsors that we want to thank as well, who have helped to make those those free guides possible. And so one of the again, the idea that I really hope that I've gotten through is we are really dedicated to our model of any person and any study. And yes, we've got, fantastic PhD program, from world-class university overall. We've got a master's program that, has an absolutely equivalent, fully accredited distance learning program as well for it. But we also want to reach out to other individuals who can't take that large of a step yet in their education through both the credit-bearing certificates coming up, and again, even our non-credit-bearing things, and again, even free guides that are available that we hope will make a difference for somebody who's watching this today as well. So that about completes my my 5 minutes or just about. And so I thank you all very much. And if you're interested in finding out more about our programs or how to apply for that, Marcy Purcell is her contact information is right up there. She's a fantastic resource for any kind of administrative logistic aspects. But if you have any more academic questions regarding the program, I welcome you to reach out to me directly, and my information is there as well. So thank you all very much. It's been an honor.
Okay, thank you for a great presentation, Dr. David. I believe that all participants is really eager to explore more about your program. Next,
Thank
we
you.
are going to yeah, you're welcome. We are going to go to Professor Stephen from School of Medicine, University of California at Davis. Please welcome Professor Stephen.
Yes, thank you, Poppy, for inviting me to come here again. Can you see my screen?
Yes, beautiful.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. So I'm representing the University of California, Davis, and so I'm a scientist, associate professor in medical microbiology. And this is here just a picture of my group. And the reason why I'm here is that I have a PhD student from Indonesia, Mrs. Megawati, who goes by the name of Mega. And she's part of the LPDP scholarship. So my lab studies actually the importance of host-virus interactions for the virus host range and the virulence. So we study pox viruses, herpes viruses, influenza viruses, and recently we also developed a program in looking at SARS-CoV-2, which we are working on. So the University of California is basically found on 10 different campuses, and UC Davis is one of these campuses. So UC Davis has about 40,000 students, 30,000 undergraduate students, and a little bit more than 8,000 postgraduate students. Davis is located in Northern California. It has a population of about 90,000 people, but it's very close to the capital of California, Sacramento, which is just 20 minutes away by car. It's also beautifully located. It's like a 2 hours drive to San Francisco, 2-hour drive to Lake Tahoe, and a 3-hour drive to Yosemite Park. So it's very closely close to one of the most beautiful spots in the United States. So the University of California in Davis is a top-rated university, 11th among public universities in the US. We're very proud that it's named #1 in the nation for diversity and internationalization. You could also see this on for my lab members. So I have 10 lab members, and they're coming from 9 different countries. We have top-rated programs in ecology, evolutionary biology, and in biological sciences and plant sciences. We have a very famous school of veterinary medicine that's on the same campus. So it has been ranked #1 in the world for a couple of years in a row now. We also have a medical center. So the patient care is taken care in Sacramento, which is like 20 minutes away. And the basic research facilities are found on the UC Davis campus, where also my lab is located. So one thing that is kind of special about UC Davis, it's not completely unique, but special, is that we are organized in graduate programs, which are campus spanning. So these graduate programs are not department based, as you usually find. So this basically means that in this campus spanning graduate groups, you have faculty members and students from a lot of different departments. For example, in the microbiology group where I am part of, it contains 27 different departments, including plant virology, veterinary science, but also soil biology and medical microbiology, for example. So we provide really an interdisciplinary and interdepartmental training, and sometimes really nice because you can really think outside the box. So in some of these student committees, you have people from 4 different departments, and then they can actually provide some very nice and fresh inputs. So as I mentioned in the microbiology graduate group, where I'm a member at, among others, we have members from at least 27 different departments, which is shown here. We also have a designated emphasis in biology of vector-borne diseases, biotechnology, host microbe interactions, and translational research. It means basically that the graduate students can take specific courses, and afterwards they get a diploma that shows them that they specialized in one of these subjects. If you want to know more about the microbiology graduate group, the email is found below. So in the microbiology graduate group, we have right now an acceptance rates of about 22%, and it's quite competitive to get into it. But that's being said, if you come in with a stipend, for example, from LPDP, it shows basically that you are among the best in your country, and you will have very good chances then to get admitted to this program. We recently dropped the GRE requirement. Basically, a lot of studies found that the GRE is not a good indicator for success in the PhD work. So this is not required anymore. A English proficiency test is required. But if you have, for example, a TOEFL test result below 100, you can be admitted to our program. But one of the requirements is just that you then take an English class here, which is something that I propose for all foreign graduate students when English is not their first language anyway. And I just want to basically finish with this. So we just want to say, so if you're interested in one of these programs, one of the best ways is to contact PIs that you might be interested directly. If you have any questions to me, you can find my email here below. I would be happy to answer any questions. You can contact people from our graduate programs directly. And I just want to say that I'm very thankful for LPDP to give these opportunities to the students. And I'm especially thankful because they basically brought Mega, who's an excellent graduate student, to my lab. And I think that everybody is going to benefit from this. And I thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Professor Stephen, for the presentation. Now we would like to invite Professor John Massey from School of Public Health, Indiana University, Bloomington.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Thank you so much for inviting me to talk about our graduate programs a little bit today. I'm an associate professor and director of graduate studies in the Department of Applied Health Science at the School of Public Health at Indiana University. And I'm going to be talking about just a pretty quick overview of some of the graduate options that we have in the School of Public Health. So this is just a map of the United States and show you where Indiana is located. That's the state that's colored in red there, and we're in the Midwestern part of the state, kind of close to Chicago. And Bloomington is where I am, which is in the southern part of the state of Indiana. We have, the typical degree programs in our school: undergraduate degrees, bachelor's degrees. We have master's degrees and then doctoral degrees, the PhD at the graduate level. And I'm going to focus here on graduate degrees. We have a large program for the Master of Public Health. And when students come to study with us for an MPH degree, these are their concentration options: behavioral, social, community health, biostatistics, environmental health, epidemiology. We have a couple of unusual, perhaps, programs, one in parks administration and one in physical activity. And then we have a program in public health administration, and a couple of those you see are offered in an online environment. And we expect that these programs are going to be increasingly popular as we're dealing with this COVID-19 pandemic. We also have some Masters of Science degree programs in a variety of disciplines, including nutrition and safety, school and college health, athletic training, again, environmental and occupational health, kinesiology, sports management, athletic administration, and then again, recreation. So you see we have a broad range of degree programs in our school. We also have the Doctor of Philosophy, PhD degrees, and we have PhD degrees in these areas: environmental health, epidemiology, health behavior, human performance, and leisure behavior. I'll just briefly touch on each of these one by one. A PhD in environmental health sort of focuses on the effects of environmental factors on human health. PhD in epidemiology. We're hearing a lot about epidemiology these days, where we're studying the causes and distribution of disease in human populations. Health behavior, and this is the PhD program that I manage, and where we currently have a student from Indonesia who studies nutrition, and who did a presentation in this with it for this group a couple of months ago when Stefan and I were both on the program talking about UC Davis and IU that night. And there was the IU PhD student in nutrition talking about her work. So, and again, a lot of COVID-related activities going on in health behavior. We're thinking about people's behaviors and wearing masks and all those kinds of things to prevent COVID transmission. So we have a lot of PhD students studying in these areas. And we also have a PhD program in human performance. And that program has 4 areas of emphasis: biomechanics, exercise physiology, motor learning and control, and sport management. This program has more to do with sort of high performance athletic movements and things like that, trying to get people to swim faster and run faster, very highly specialized sort of athletic endeavors. And then we have a PhD in leisure behavior, where people conduct research on multiple areas of leisure behavior and travel and tourism and things like that. So a wide variety of possibilities for graduate students to come to Indiana and study. And we have quite a large, diverse program, and with students from all over the world studying here, and we certainly welcome students from all over the world to come and study with us. If anybody would like more information, there's our school website and my email address. So happy to hear from anybody and by email to answer any specific questions that you have later. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Professor John. Now we are going to go to University of Alabama, the Vice Provost Graduate School, but we'll have the presentation about chemistry and biochemistry from Dr. Susan Carvalho. Please welcome.
Thank you. You can see my slides now?
Yes, yeah, beautiful.
Thank you. I'm so pleased to be here and to continue my association with Indonesia. I have had the opportunity to be involved with the USAID project on higher education, leadership, and management. It was called the HELM project from 2011, 2016. And I know some of the universities we worked with are here on this call. I saw my colleagues from chemistry from Haluoleo University in Kendari, and I was so pleased to visit there many times, and also Shakwala and Andalas. And any others who are on the call, it's good to reconnect with you. So I'm familiar with the LPDP program and the talents of the students, and we're so proud to have the LPDP student in our chemistry program. This is where we're located in the Southeast, where it's a balmy climate, a very short, very mild winter, and summers that feel a lot like Indonesia, maybe a little less rain. A snapshot of the University of Alabama. We were founded 190 years ago, almost 38,000 students, 1,500 international students, and a beautiful campus of 486 hectares in the heart of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, which is located on a river that involves a lot of the recreation that our students enjoy. We have 150 graduate degrees. These are some of them, but we have many more. And I'll be focusing on chemistry in my 5 minutes, but you can see the range of programs that we offer. We enjoy collaborating with international students, solving the world's problems together. And the feature of our graduate programs that we are most proud of are the research opportunities for co-publishing and hands-on research that students can engage in when they come here. And I'll be telling you a little bit about chemistry instrumentation. But we were ranked as the top public university in the US for internships. And we think that's because of the hands-on research opportunities that our students have. Sorry, I missed a slide. We have 4 major research institutes, and chemistry is involved in 2 of them. Water, energy, and the environment closely uses the chemistry expertise combined with engineering. Transportation, cybersecurity and information technology, and life research and biotechnology, where again, our chemistry department is very heavily involved. And we house the National Surface Water Center for the US government. In our chemistry and biochemistry department, we have 6 areas of specialization that students can focus on: analytical, biochem, inorganic, materials, organic, and physical. So our doctoral students focus on one of these areas, and we have multiple labs in each of these 6 areas. Our master's students tend to have a more general focus, but I'm very pleased and proud that our LPDP master's student will now be funded by the University of Alabama as a doctoral student, because she was so successful and has contributed so much to the lab she's working in. So that's an example of how we can work together and increase our collaboration, because we can continue the support of the LPDP students on into their doctoral programs. Just as a snapshot of the kinds of instrumentation that our students work on, this is a list of some of the specialized laboratory equipment that we have across multiple buildings on our campus. And our graduate students co-present at professional conferences based on the data they generate and the work they do alongside the professors, and they co-publish, which allows them to leave here with a very professional career already established of publishing in international journals and presenting at international conferences. And we also provide funding for the travel to those conferences for our graduate students. Snapshot about admission requirements. Like many of the universities on this call, we have waived the GRE at least for August 2021, and probably well beyond that, because we like the results. After we waived it for COVID, we like the results. More students were able to apply, and they're very, very promising students who are very successful this year. English score requirement, GPA 3.0, and we consider all applicants automatically for assistantships in our lab, especially in the STEM programs. And the assistantships provide tuition as well as a stipend that covers living expenses. And I will echo what others have said on this call. We know that the LPDP students have been rigorously trained and rigorously screened by you. And so they have very, very strong chance of admission if they hold LPDP credential. I'd already talked about that. There's some shots of our town. Our urban area is 235,000, so it's big enough to have a lot to do, but small enough to be welcoming and safe. And we are famous for hospitality, especially to people from outside the state and outside the nation. Here's my email address. I would welcome an email from you. 5 minutes isn't very long, but I hope this was interesting enough that you will be able to connect with us, and you can see more information about the chemistry department at the website there. And I will send Ibu Poppy a PDF version of this presentation so that you can have that afterwards.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Susan Carvalho, and we really enjoy every moment to all presenter about the profile of the university and program. We would like to welcome Ms. Gillian Collins from University of Missouri.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you
Yeah.
for having me. Let me share my screen. Okay, can you see it okay?
Yes, beautiful.
Great. Okay. So my name is Gillian Collins. I serve as the Director of Sponsored Student Programs in the International Center at the University of Missouri. I've been asked to speak specifically today about our Master's in Veterinary Public Health program. And I promise to speak about that program, but want to give a brief overview of the unit I serve, the sponsored student program, and the university as a whole. So International Sponsored Students, as I mentioned, is the program that I head. International Sponsored Students are those who receive external funding for their academic program. This can be from a foreign government, the US government, foreign universities, NGOs, or private companies. And essentially our unit is there to serve the unique needs of international sponsored students at the University of Missouri. We are essentially a concierge service and assist these students from point of inquiry through admission, throughout their program, and finally to completion. So we understand that the application and admission process to the US graduate schools can be somewhat difficult. And so we assist prospective students through this process, as well as help explain sponsorship requirements to the academic departments, expedite admission, and as well as the issuance of J1 and F1 documentation so that students can arrive on time. We currently host international sponsored students from Indonesia on LPDP scholarships, USAID funding, and Fulbright grantees who currently study journalism, public health, natural resource fields, statistics, engineering, and business. So international sponsored students are welcome to reach out to me directly if they have any questions about the admission process at Mizzou. So where is Mizzou located? Obviously, we're in the state of Missouri, and we are in the city of Columbia. Columbia is considered a college town, so there's about 130,000 people that live there. And this region of the US is often known for safety and hospitality. Columbia itself is ranked number 6 among US colleges and universities for best safety resources, and is consistently ranked within the top 50 as one of the best cities to live in the US. So the University of Missouri, also known as Mizzou, is the flagship institution for the state of Missouri. MU is home to 30,000 Tigers who hail from all 50 states in the US and more than 100 countries, including Indonesia. MU hosts approximately 6,700 master's and doctoral students. We offer over 300 different programs. And we are a Carnegie classified Research 1 institution for high research productivity. We are also one of 34 public institutions who are members of the Association of American Universities. And MU spends over $200 million annually on research. We also account for over 70% of the research dollars flowing into Missouri public institutions. So, what is veterinary public health? We currently have LPDP students in this program. And so I'll start with a brief overview of what that is. So it's the science of protecting and improving health of people and their communities, which includes animals and the environment. Veterinary public health professionals research disease and injury prevention and detect, prevent, and respond to infectious diseases. Students in this emphasis area receive training in zoonotic disease prevention, food safety, and other emerging issues in animal and human health. So hands-on internships are a big part of this program, and students participate in internship opportunities that address both veterinary and public health problems. For instance, previous students have assisted with testing and surveillance of Salmonella typhoid and Salmonella pylori in chickens, as well as the tracking of elk as part of Missouri Innovative Elk Restoration Initiative. The veterinary public health emphasis provides students with the public health credentials to serve as leaders in One Health activities and zoonosis prevention, as well as control programs in the United States and around the world. I should also note that the program offers an emphasis in health promotion and policy, and also offers several dual degree options, including an MPH Doctor of Vet Med, MPH and Masters of Journalism, MPH and MPA, and then MPH and MSW in social work. So there are 87 master's degrees and 59 doctoral degree programs offered on campus. The application and admission process and requirements vary for each program, as well as the intake periods and deadlines. So we encourage students to really do their research, specifically know in advance, A, what is required, and B, what must be submitted. We encourage students to begin preparing their application materials 6 to 12 months prior to their desired start term. And my next slide goes into a brief overview of the application process, but I won't review all of that, but I specifically want to note temporary accommodations like many other universities on the call that our programs are making to accommodate international students in light of the current climate. So there are several master's and PhD programs that are either making GRE and GMAT scores optional for the coming semesters and or are temporarily waiving this requirement in light of limited access to exam facilities. Each of these programs have updated their admission requirements on their webpage. And you are also welcome to reach out to the departments directly if you've got questions on whether or not these application materials are required for the coming terms. They've also made exceptions to language proficiency requirements. We are also accepting Duolingo since this exam can be taken online and is more accessible to international students. The minimum score requirement for graduate admissions on the Duolingo exam is 105. So that is my brief 5-minute overview. I tried to keep it to 5 minutes specifically, but if you have additional questions, please do ask.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Jillian. Wonderful. Cue the miso.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, now we are going to have the presentation, the last but not the least, from Professor Yun from College of Veterinary Medicine, Iowa State University.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rufada. Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah, perfect.
Okay, good. And can you see my screen too?
Yes, yeah.
All right, okay, great. Thank you for having me. I guess I was called upon to join this meeting because I do have a student from Indonesia under the program you just mentioned currently in my lab. So I'm a professor at the College of Veterinary Medicine at Iowa State University. And let me just kind of briefly start with where these Iowa State universities are. And then before that, as you can see on this screen, the campus of Iowa State University is one of the most beautiful, the campus in the US. And particularly in the fall, and even during the winter, they're covered by snow, it still look good. So where's Iowa State University at? I mean, previous speakers come from the Wisconsin, now just the Missouri, Nebraska, Wisconsin. They are all neighboring a state of Iowa. It's in the middle of country, and we call it one of the Midwest. And then the ISU itself is sitting in the center of the state, which city name is known as Ames. So I'm going to introduce about the veterinary medicine, and the reason that the veterinary medicine is very important at this university is when you look at the state as a whole, this is a good mixture of urban cities and then very much of green rural areas. So the picture on the right corner, that's the typical cornfield in Iowa. So a lot of those the fields are producing the corn crops or soybeans, those kind of things. So when you have such rich soils and can produce a lot of those corns and soils, it's very good for the animal industry. So the Iowa is known for one of farming states. And I think the state has about 3.1 million population. But in terms of the number of pigs that the state has is about 22 million. So I can say that probably every single person living in the state can have about 7 to 8 pigs per person. Okay, So the state of Iowa is #1 for the hog production, and also the laying the egg hens. So back in year 2015, the Iowa had unfortunately high path avian influenza virus outbreak, and the egg supplies from Iowa to the west of the country stopped it. So that's how many of eggs that this state produces. So that's knowing that, and then obviously the agriculture and then veterinary medicine become in the focus of this university. The official name of the university is Iowa State University of Science and Technology. So as you can see, the university itself is emphasized STEM field. We don't have a medical school, but we do have a veterinary medicine and a veterinary clinic on the campus. We don't have the law school, but we do have like business schools and design schools. And then the human science, liberal arts, and so on. So the College of Veterinary Medicine is one of 7 colleges at the university, and the university itself about 7,000 faculty and staff. And then between, depends on the years, so we can have about 32,000 up to 35,000 students. And I can tell you more than 10% of those student body is actually foreign students, international students. And knowing that the state of Iowa is in the middle of the countries and it's not really kind of a well known to the outside of the US, yet we do have a lot of international students coming to our university, studying the agriculture, for example, and also like kind of some of the business. And then believe it or not, we do have a good engineering school too. So let's get back to the College of Veterinary Medicine. We are proud is to be for being the first public veterinary college in the U.S. So this district college established the first in the United States as a public veterinary college. It has about almost 150 years history. The point that one of the things that very unique about the city of Ames is between our college of veterinary medicine and then a couple of federal agencies that dealing with the veterinary science. Probably Ames would be the most the veterinarians concentrated city in the world actually. It's going to. And the other things I want to point out is it's not a really big university, but when I look at just our college, the research publication we make is the rank as #1 is research citation. That means whatever research our college conduct has a tremendous impact in the veterinary science field. The college is one of 28 AVMA accredited vet colleges. So since you guys know, so the US has 50 states. So even not all of the state has one veterinary school. It's only 28. So the getting into the veterinary school in the US has a really high competition. Our college has about 160 faculty members, and then has about 5 different departments. So biomedical science, it's very known for the neuroscience research, and a veterinary microbiology and preventive medicine. And my department, the veterinary diagnostic and production animal medicine, and a veterinary pathology, and a veterinary clinical science. Okay. And then currently we have about 150 graduate students in our college. And I can tell you about, the close to 60% are the international students. Getting back to just focusing on the department where I belong to, we have about 55 faculty members. So among the college, we have a relatively large number of faculties available. We do offer 65 courses to our veterinary students, focusing on food, supply, veterinary medicine, and diagnostic medicine. Our department had offered 2 graduate programs with one certificate program. One is a veterinary preventive medicine, and then the other one is a population science in animal health. So the population science is for the PhD degree, and a veterinary preventive medicine is for the master degree. Okay, and as the other speakers, one of the speakers said, it is not uncommon in the U.S. Many of the faculty members in a particular academic department belong to the many different graduate programs. So a lot of faculty members in our department also associate with the immunobiology programs, the microbiology programs, animal science, and so on. Okay. Oh, oops, sorry. What happened? Maybe I pushed the wrong button.
Okay.
Yeah. So the graduate training, the focus of our department in the graduate training is mainly, first of all, infectious disease, particularly in the livestock, because we are approaching those problems with a population science concept. And also a lot of research we are conducting in our department is related to the preventive medicine, particularly for the food security. Okay. And we have a very small niche program here is related to animal well-beings. And also a lot of the research directly related to One Health, particularly related to the food safety, antimicrobial, and a competitive medicine, including the zoonosis. The students who coming into our programs, because our department has many service units, so they can engage in one of these service units to get the actual hands-on experience. One of the things I want to emphasize here is the veterinary diagnostic laboratory. That's a part of our department. But I think I can proudly say that this is one of the world best diagnostic lab on a swine medicine, if not the best. Okay, and then a lot of species-oriented one, like a food animal, like camelid hospitals, and then also uniquely we provide some service related to the phytogenealogy or the embryo transfers and so on. Students also have a chance to interact with a lot of these centers, institutes that relate to our department. One of the things that I can mention here is the Institute for the International Cooperation in Animal Biologics, as well as the Nano-Vaccine Institute. So those are focusing on the vaccine development or the harmonization of the vaccine certification programs. I think the other speakers already mentioned about what is the requirement for the graduate college admission. So obviously have to have the bachelor degree. And then since we are the veterinary school, so if it has a training in veterinary medicine, that is a help. Unfortunately, English proficiency test score is required, particularly either TOEFL or the IELTS. GRE is required for the PhD at the moment, but there is no minimum scores. So as long as you took the exam and provide the evidence of it, then it's okay. And then I can tell you that there is a discussion, like other speakers mentioned, that whether or not we dropped this GRE even as a requirement. The most important part is the financial support, the document of financial support. You can definitely provide the self-support document. And then you can also have either scholarship or fellowship from the institute or the international agencies. And then you can also compete for either assistantship or fellowship at the Iowa State University, but that's based on a competitive basis and then very limited. Once a student comes in our program, for the master, it's required about 32 credits. For the PhD, it's 72 credits. So that the coursework has to be done. And then also have to have a research programs. so they can write the thesis or dissertation. However, we do have a master program without thesis. It means you just take the only coursework and you can have a degree. And then find a prelim and final. One of the points I want to make here is particularly for the international student who comes apply for the graduate program in the United States. Many times those the scholarship or fellowship is probably limited 2 years for the master and 3 years for the PhD. And I can tell you that typically, at least in our university, master degree takes about 3 years on average, and a PhD takes about 5 years on average. So sometimes when the student, actually have either fellowship or assistant from their own in the institute or the international agency, they need to make sure that they have enough to support themselves when they are admitted to the programs, because it takes longer than what they're usually limited. Hopefully that provides some snapshot of our program. On this screen, there is an email, my email address that you can contact me. I'm sure that the presentation is recorded, so you can actually find some. Hopefully, you can find that this information is useful. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you, Professor Yun, for the presentation. It is amazing. The first veterinary program in the US is from university. Iowa State University. All presenter from 10 university has been presenting their part. So I really truly enjoy every moment you have presented in your part. If there are questions, particularly to LPDP, we would like to have the time. We will provide the time, or maybe from audience. We also has share the link of information. Kita sudah share link informasi untuk feedback dan inputnya. Silahkan diisi ya, evaluasi, feedback, dan presensi untuk yang tertarik berencana melakukan kolaborasi dengan universitas. Mohon kiranya dapat diisi dan juga di-share kepada rektor, rektorat, dekan, ketua program studi, sehingga kami bisa mendapatkan informasi yang berhubungan dengan kolaborasi riset dan pendidikan. We also would allow if from the 10 university would like to deliver the question directly to LPDP, so we will allow. As promised, actually, this session will be finished 9:30, but we have 30 minutes extra until 10 p.m. Washington time. Pak Dwi akan menambahkan, Pak Dwi. Do you want to add some information?
No, Bu, thank you. I'm waiting for response. Pak Wisnu, maybe related with research, Pak Wisnu, if any.
I'm ready. Yes. Once again, what's the question is?
No question, but if you want to add something, but.
Oh no, thanks. So for me, this is enough. I would like to, if there's any question more detail, I will be happy to answer all the question.
Okay, thank you.
Not this evening, or maybe the next event, or some days.
Okay.
Okay, you can send me an email.
Okay, thank you, Pak Wisnu. So, is there any question? If there is no question.
Ibu, actually, I have a question.
Okay, Ibu Evi.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's been great to get to know the 10 universities. Thank you very much, Ibu Poppy, for facilitating this. And we're very interested. I actually wrote the questions in the chat box as well, but I'm going to also mention it here. So I got a question to take on Professor Kyungji, and also the state about LPDP scholarship, which requires awardees to finish within 4 years or less. I was just wondering if, LPDP will also cover for year 5 or even year 6, considering that studying for a PhD in the United States sometimes, or like normally takes longer than 4 years, and whether any universities attending this meeting also have a special arrangement for Indonesian students with LBDP or other scholarships who are not able to finish within 4 years, for example. Is there any particular scheme that Indonesian students will be able to use towards the completion of the study? Thank you.
So since I mentioned that part first, so I can go first, and
Sure.
then maybe
Thank
other,
you.
the other presenters, they can chime in. So the reason I mentioned about it is, and obviously 30 some years ago when I came to the United States, I came to the US for my PhD degree with the assumption that I can finish up in the 3 or maybe 3.5 years. It was not the case because first of all, there is a requirement of the coursework that has to meet a number of courses they have to take it. And so if the students studying in the US from the undergraduate through the master and PhD, all those credits can be transferred into the program. So it's not like they have to take all 32 or 72 credits from beginning. So some of the course can transfer in. So there is a way that they cut down on that. And the other thing is, I think that most of the professors in the US, when we accept the student, we are trying to provide assistance. So it's not like we are trying to find the free labors, okay? But the student coming from the international countries, when they have a certain level of scholarship or fellowship, it does help their the admission with the two reasons. One, financially is helpful. Second, because of the selection process, they are already in place. So they are trying to select the really good student from their country. So I think one of the previous speakers also pointed that out. Now, one of the things that I have done, and then so many faculty members in my department done, is if a student coming into our program, let's say for only 2 years support, and then we're just looking into if programs has to be longer than 2 years, and then the PIs trying to find the money to cover the rest of the years. So maybe first 2 years, student go into the program with a scholarship or fellowship from the home institute or international agency, and then the PIs cover the remaining of those things. So those kind of things can be arranged. So it's not like nothing really kind of accepting university. I mean, what I'm saying is accepting university not doing nothing. It's just they try to do those things. But I just wanted I wanted to point it out that hopefully students are not coming to the U.S. university with the knowledge saying, okay, if it says 2 years, then they can finish up all the programs within 2 years. That's not the case. Maybe coursework is possible, but when requires a research and some depends on the progress of a research, it would take more than 2 or 3 years for each programs.
Okay, thank you. I think is this clear? Since the time is nearly approaching 10:30 minutes, I think if there is no question, we will.
Poppy,
Yeah.
Professor Poppy.
Okay.
I am Dr. Agus Salim from Indonesia.
Okay, Dr. Salim, please.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think you still remember when I met with you in Indonesian Embassy in Washington last year on October. Thank you so much for facilitating me to go around.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Professor. I'm working now in Makassar Health Polytechnic, just transfer from Papua Health Polytechnic. And then I'm really so interested to the presentation of Susan Carvalho. I'm really so sorry. A while back, I cannot join all the presentations because I'm still delivering of my subject through the learning distance to my students, because now we are having the COVID pandemic. So we are teaching of our students through the Zoom or another learning distance. I'm really so interested about the joint collaboration with the Susan Carvalho, because I know that a while back she has presented about the public health. Could you facilitate us to have a joint collaborations between our institution or between our personal inquiry to have a collaboration research through the public health or maybe nursing program, because now nursing program in Indonesia is really grow up. Thank you very much, Professor. Thank you very much.
Yes, my contact information is in the chat bar, and I would be very happy to look at the CV of any visiting scholar and help make a connection. Nursing might be more difficult because we have a very strong nursing program, but there are a lot of rules about patient contact that make it difficult to visit. But in public health, the MPH program, for example, it's very easy to form faculty to faculty connections and host a visiting scholar who might come for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and establish a working research relationship. And I think the same is true for the other universities on the call. So it starts with finding a professor who's a good match for the research specialization. And I'll be glad to.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Susan. Actually, last year I presented of my research in Transcultural Nursing Society in Richmond, Virginia. And then I saw a while back that you presented about public health. Maybe in your university, do you have, in Alabama University, maybe do you have a nursing program? I really would like to have a joint collaborations about the research between Indonesia and maybe in your place. Could you facilitate and maybe related to the...
Yes, please,
Thank you.
send me an email and we will figure out how to make it happen.
Thank you so much. I'm going to WhatsApp you after this. Thank you so much. Thank you, Professor Poppy. Thank you for facilitating us.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Agus. Is there any question before we close this amazing session? We will make sure that all PowerPoint presentation from 10 university to be delivered to all registered. There are around 300 participants, who has already registered, and we will email the file to you. But please make sure you fill out the form that we have already submitted in the chat room. Kalau tidak ada pertanyaan, bukan berarti berakhir. Silahkan diisi link informasi dengan sebaik-baiknya sehingga nanti kita bisa melanjutkan proses komunikasi. We would like also to inform the next webinar, the second US-Indonesia Research and Education Collaboration in the field of humanities will be in December, the 2nd of December on Wednesday. So please make sure you follow the information delivered by Indonesian Embassy, and follow also the Facebook of Adikbud USA. Terima kasih. Bila tidak ada pertanyaan, kami mengucapkan.
I have a question. Can I ask?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Thank you. My name is Rita Ismail.
Ya, okay, Bu Rita.
Ya, makasih Bu Poppy. My name is Rita Ismail. I'm from Health Polytechnic Jakarta 3. And I also got a scholarship from LPDP 6 years ago for my dissertation. And I was wondering if there are any program for postdoc that can be funded by LPDP, and also for the short course that we can get it from LPDP if we would like to have it in the United States. Thank you.
I think the question addressed
Answer, Ibu.
to Pak Dwi.
Thank you, Ibu Rita. Congratulations, you receive LPDP. Currently, we don't have a specific program in providing funding for postdoctoral. But if you do research, for example, and then you have a collaborative research, university to university, you can use research funding through Directorate of Research at LPDP, but the research actually based on not on degree seeking, but on research. In addition, we now not reviewing, preparing and working on the not only vocational and certification, but as well kind of sabbatical program. But this is still in process. Hopefully, if we work fast, and then we can offer in 2021. But we still in an early phase of developing this kind of enrichment program for researcher and lecturer, just like Prof. Nisam said in the early presentation today. Thank you, Ibu Poppy.
Okay. Thank you very much, Pak Dwi. We have already shared also two events that will be showed tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. This is the webinar about the preparation to study in the US, and also the webinar of Kitorang Bicara, where the presenter is from Oregon State University. That is the university where Pak Dwi graduated, from Oregon University.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, from School of Business and from School of Community Planning. On Thursday, US time, or Friday, Indonesian time. So please make sure you download two files of the information that we have already shared. Thank you very much to all presenter. We are really looking forward from all participants to engage with the collaboration in how we prepare our students to give more information about US universities, and then so they have preference to pursue their study in US universities. Thank you very much to LPDP, to Pak Dwi and all the team who has already supporting us since June until sometime in the future. So we have number of Indonesian increase double or triple. We expect more Indonesian to study in US university. Currently, we only have 20%, compared to European countries. Thank you very much once again, and then we would like also to thank the Ministry of Education and Culture, and also to Chancellor Council of Public University of Indonesia. Terima kasih, sampai jumpa di lain kesempatan. Kami juga mengucapkan terima kasih. We would like to thank to all presenter from University of Nebraska, Professor David and Professor Catherine Ankerson, Professor Jennifer, Dr. Hiroki, Professor Santos, Dr. David, Professor Stephen, Professor John Messi, Dr. Susan, Miss Jillian, and Professor Yun. And we are looking forward for having more engagement in the future. Thank you very much, and then see you.